Good morning, good afternoon. Sorry, good afternoon. Let me just see what's going on. All right. We have a minute or so. But welcome. Hey, I got your email, Kate. I read it quickly because I literally just got it before I came on. And so interesting. All righty. So we are going to get started. It is 2 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. And that's when I said I was starting, and here I am. And here you are. So thanks for showing up live. And let me just put this on so I can see any chats in the Facebook group. So if you're seeing this live and you are in the mastermind, come over to the Zoom so we can just go stream nicely into the mastermind after this on-demand section. Yeah, you're getting used to it? You understand how we roll now? Well, we've had a week off, so we are starting again for March. It's March 4th here, or March 5th, if you're in Australia or other side of the world. And what was coming up over the week, so powerful, it scares me. Yep, I'm scared-sighted, right? I'm scared-sighted. And we're going to touch into it. It is the mystic path, and it's different perspectives of it, and what's really important in my opinion, according to me. That's all, just according to me, right? And so we can share our beliefs and our conditionings and what is preventing us from taking the next step. I was going to say dive, but you know, some of you are just like little tippy toe in there. And then maybe why there is so much fear. And for the last few days, I've been, I'll share this with you. It's personal, but you know, you'll know that I'm human and I have a life and I have children, and sometimes those children, as grown up as they are, women, in fact, have choices and decisions to make, and they can be really difficult decisions. And I think that's Lisa just joined us. And so I am the type of mother some of you will love and some of you will be like, oh, thank goodness she's not my mum. However, I am a representation of the mother. Okay. So also a representation of those aspects within you that may be blissfully wonderful or really challenging and trigger you. I'm all of it. You're welcome. I'm going to make you shake in your boots, but also bliss out like you've never dreamt, possibly. Right. So anyway, talking to my daughter on and off, because she actually, you know, for her job, she flies in, flies out, does a specialist job, and she's deciding she got another job, which is one that she always wanted back in the day when she was an apprentice. And she got it. And now she's like, oh, now I have to make the decision to stay or to leave in the job that she has, which she really enjoys. And so it was about, without getting too far into it, because this is for a teaching point, really, and I didn't plan to tell you this, just popped in as I saw you come on and the energy. Because it is about the mother, but it's also about decisions, but primarily it's around our fear. And so she was in this space where her body felt uncomfortable. She was making a choice. And originally she made the choice. She told the people that gave her the job, like she went for the interview and all the rest of it. And she did that for practice, in her mind, for practice. So if you're watching, I'm proud of you. I'm a proud mama. And, you know, you got to that decision working through your fear, because having a mama that can give you answers is not always. It's what you may want. So think about this. Do you go to people, family, friends, wanting them to tell you the answer? Do you go to psychics, mystics, intuitives, right? Mediums, whatnot, wanting them to give you the answer? Do you? Just answer that for yourself, or give me a nod if I can see you, right? Yes, you do. I have spent years. So just now that there's people on, I'm Cynthia Harrison, mystic medicine woman, metaphysician, and I'm here for the Cynthia on Demand, which is 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, on the Facebook Live, Rhombus Healing Arts. But also, if you would like to join us for the Holistic Mystic, which is the mastermind that we have, where we go deeper into what we've talked about, or you can ask me specific questions about what's going on in your life, and we have a mentor session. So that's $30 for a month of mentoring, right? So if you're interested in that, I'll pop the link in a moment. But now back to the story. So every decision, every question, every step, there is some sensorial experience. There's some sense, right? A sensory experience. We're humans. We have a nervous system. Even if some of it may seem like it's all over the shop and it's not working correctly, or you may think that it's not doing what it needs to be, or you want it to be doing. Yeah, meaning you feel discomfort. So one of the first things my daughter said to me was, I wish I had a crystal ball. Now, my daughter's an electrician. She is very intelligent. She's grew up with a mystical mum and understands energy medicine and whatnot, but she went to the math and science, right? Which is all in my family too. My dad, you know, is an expert in magnetism and did physics and all the rest of it. And his mother was had a degree in a master's in science and whatnot. Like there's all the science and the mystery in my family. And in those moments, she wasn't asking from that deeper place. So it seemed. And even up to today, where she she got the plane and was on the bus to the place where she was giving in her resignation. And I was like, oh, she made a decision. And then she said, but I'm upset about it. Like, I feel a lot about it. So we talked about the fear. So it was back and forth of what I do with you. This is how I parent. It's no different. I don't give my kids the answers. I give them the way to get the answers. I give them the support and the container to get to where they need to be, or want to be, or desire to be, right? And the space to think it through. So about an hour ago, she messaged me and she said she handed in her resignation, and her boss basically said, you can change your mind right up to the last day. So she'd given, 4 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it was. So she's still winning. It doesn't matter what way she goes, she still has a great career. it doesn't matter which one she takes, because she's still going to be in the career, in the profession that she studied and worked so hard, especially being a young woman who used to be a ballerina. She's a tiny little thing, right? And she's in this man's world. So the things that were coming up for her, we could go into the story, but I'm saying, what's the fear? Where is it in your body? Observing it there. All the things we teach in Relevate, right? Regulate to elevate. Some of the things we teach here too, but primarily specialize in that program. What is the energy, the charge that is preventing you moving forward in any area of your life? Now, you can and probably do at some point or other want a miracle and may pray or do some ritual or sit in meditation or whatever for that to manifest. Anyone do any of that? Yeah, right. And you may not see a result. Anyone? Right? Or you may see miraculous shift in something. Again, anyone? Yeah, yeah, right. Both. You can have both. And that's that love, fear, right? So anyway, this isn't what I was bringing in. It's always the way, isn't it? But then over the month, so this week, I'm going to be introducing you bits and pieces of our relationship to something bigger than ourselves. We're not necessarily going to name it as anything in particular, because I was considering this last night. How I am and how I work and what I experience and what information comes into me. I don't label in the way that I'm going to share with you over this month. And I'm saying month because this month is specific to the information that I'm going to share. And I'm going to share it from, as I always do, multiple perspectives, multiple layers. So I've been considering where to start all week. I'm like, where do I start? I'm circular. There is no start. I just got to dive in, right? And then we unpack it as usual. So I have copious amounts of information on multiple different ways of knowing, aka belief systems, ancient texts, and names of different things or ways or places or realms. Hence, I need to draw probably a lot of it. If you're in the mastermind, I will give you the documents, access to whatever I'm referring to. So are you finding all of that okay? Those of you that are on the Zoom, you're finding like the portal okay? All right. And that's where I'll feed in extra information on what I might be alluding to and give you images if I have them. And if not, I can draw them. Okay, so anyway, so there's that. I just gave you a story about being a mum, about my daughter, who's not a mother of children, but she has it's not really it's like a grand fur baby, right? But he's huge, right? It's a German Shepherd. And she's happy doing her thing. What the key was mother, and clarity for decision. So if you had any of that, how would your life be different? If you think about what's going on for you, so just take a moment, like what is going on in your life that you may want to bring up to me or someone else, but there's fear, or you may want to have different or experience it differently. What is something that if you could have insight into it today would create some reference, some sort of freedom in your view? So if you've got a health issue, a relationship issue, a financial issue, I don't know, mental health issue, what else is there? World crisis issue, you know, you might be sitting in the middle of a tornado, cyclone, earthquake, volcanic eruption, war, conflict, neighbors, whatever, animals, whatever it is. So just take a note. Just a couple of words. It's interesting because what I was saying to my daughter today was, what's valuable to you? What's of value? What do you value? And when I ask people that, because I ask everybody that when they get to a point, so I used to do it with myself. You know, I did it differently when I was younger, but I could tell by looking at my bank statements what I valued, where my energy went. Energy as in money. Where did I put it? Right? So most of you can, to some degree, can look at that and see what you value. So that's on that real base level. And it's like every day, every time, every year that I'm doing my taxes, my accountant sees what I value. And it is true it's true. Do you see what I'm saying? Because she sees everything I buy, everything I put money towards. She sees all of my my bank accounts. She sees what comes in and what goes out, right? And it's interesting because when I look at that, it's how I am in the world. It shows how I am in the world and what I value. So if I value my growth, the work that I do, what amount of financing I put towards that, or from my growth through my mentors and teachers and, different things that I pay for to make things run smoothly or whatever it is, but also the food I buy, places I go. Do you see what I mean? It can give you an idea. So if I asked you, what do you value? You could start at that point. But a more advanced or more expanded way is to look at what you're working towards. So if I said, what are you working towards? And would make as maybe call it a goal or something that you're really wanting to shift or change. And it doesn't need to be a thing. It could be a virtue. So if we're looking, some of you might be in Psi, right? So, when we look at all the emanations, the energy emanations, they all have virtues. And we have all of them, but what ones we might be wanting to bring into our world a little more, maybe to keep us in integrity. If integrity is a thing for you, it may not be. Like, I'm not to say what's what for anybody. I'm just giving you ideas to think. So I'm getting you to think right now. So I'm just going to wrap that up and get into sort of what I'm really here to talk about. But ultimately, it is this stuff, because if you don't know what you want, you really can't have the clarity. You may be really great at manifesting or creating you're all awesome at creating your reality. 100%. Look around you. Right? Are we high-fiving? Or are we like, oh, look around you? Are you looking around and going, okay, I created this. This is what I value. This is what I put my energy, not only financially, but on the subtle level. If you feel triggered, meaning if you feel that in your body, take note of it. Just say, oh, I was asked about whatever it is that triggered you. Okay, my environment, and something came up. I felt something in my body. Make a little note. Make a little note. That's a fear. Anything that I'm saying, so this is how you can use these sessions if you want to. Every time I speak and you feel it, it feels good or not so good, take a note. What was it that I said? It will show you where you're at and what needs to be looked at a little deeper. And then if you're in the mastermind, then come and bring that in and we can go deeper on it. You can get some mentoring, right? So you can live your life, you can walk around your world and notice there is a disjoint between mind and body, or our head and our heart, our love and our wisdom, our will. Because our wisdom's actually in our navel, but right? Our will or our intelligence. There's a break. And when we talk about intimacy, so let me ask you, when you hear people talk of being intimate with someone or intimate with something, what comes to mind? You can put it in the chat or you could just write it down if you're a bit shy, right? Because this is your work. Like we're here for things to move and shift. I'm not watching Hawaiian Housewives. Is there a Hawaiian Housewives? I don't know. I don't think there's enough disruption for that to be a success. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm just checking the chat. I don't think anyone's written anything, but when you're ready, you can. All right, so you're taking notes. So intimacy. Intimacy is not about sex. It's not about making love necessarily, although it can be. Yeah. It's about relationship and a connection to the senses. And many humans have a fear around this. So I've asked you before, I think it was when we were doing Relevate, or maybe the Relevate challenge. I think at the beginning of one of those, I was asking around, is there a fear, and what is the fear, if any, of connecting deeper into the body? Do you recall? Well, if you don't, I'm asking you again. Do you have a fear? And for some of you, it might be I have pain and I'm scared to feel more pain. I'm scared to have a relationship with how my health or my wellness or however that plays out. You could say my perceived lack of wellness or health, right? But it's a story, because it might just be one piece of you, one, if it's your knee, right, or your head or your arm or whatever, that isn't you. It's not who you are, right? It can become your identity if you have chronic health and you allow it, if that's what you want. Again, it's no judgment, but consider that, because there are many people, if you're not one of them, you may know people that have made what they perceive as wrong with them their identity. And they become intimate with that identity, but they're not intimate with what came before that may have created the symptom or the experience that then we claim as, this is who I am. I am schizophrenic. I am this, I am that, whatever I am. Not I experience this. And some of you may have a hit on that, because I know that for neurodivergent people, there's debates around, some people want the identity, right? And some don't. Technically, I would be classed in that category, because just how I see and experience the world, it's not normal, right? So I'm getting you to consider a lot, because as we go through the week and the month, I'm going to be touching on mystical aspects of what I just said. For instance, because it's micro, macro, macro, micro, right? So what is layered in your experience on the external, we can break it down to these mystical understandings. We can break it down to even geometry, beautiful geometries that are great to look at, which we'll do a little bit of that today in the mastermind. But you'll be able to see how we can use symbolism or a yantra, right? Like imagery, geometry, that represents all of what we're talking about. And there's many different ones from different traditions and whatnot. I'm going to touch on a few different traditions as we go along that are all saying, when you bring it back to the point, they're describing very similar things, just in their language and their gods and goddesses and whatnot. When I talk about the Divine Mother, Divine Father, the Beloved, right? These other ways of knowing speak about it in different ways. So I've been talking about the mother for a while, probably 30 years, right? But for those of you that have known me, however long you've known me, I speak of the mother. And it wasn't until recently that I started to explain a little more, because I was asked, people were alluding to what's this, the gender. And it is an agenda. And when I just said that, I heard agenda. Anyway, words just, I see them differently. Anyway, the agenda is not gender, right? And how that may look. So we're giving a bit of an introduction today. Tomorrow we'll be going deeper. I am going to I'll draw a picture just to give you a bit of an idea and to wet your whistle, as my mum used to say. She probably still does say it. But you know, it's like getting a taste or dipping your toe in. If we have this, can you see the whiteboard? If we have this point, so if I was to ask you, so I'm asking you lots of questions, so I hope you've got a page full of things to contemplate, right? Because that will be your homework. If you've got a point, if I asked you, what is God to you? You may not believe in a God. So cool. What is the beloved to you? What is the universe to you? What is the supreme source? So in other words, I'm asking, what is your belief about something bigger than yourself? And I'm assuming you have some belief. I'm not sure, although I do have atheist friends, you know, from way back, because I questioned everything from when I could probably speak or think on my own. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't believe in the God that I heard about in the world. I didn't. And to follow on that, I'm just feeling into the truth of it. And it's how I see, like, before I speak, I feel what the truth is, whether it's my true identity or whether it's a belief or conditioning that's coming through my mouth, right? If I'm to feel into whether that's still true, it's still true that the God that was delivered to me when I was young, I still do not believe. Why? So think about this for yourself. I'm not here to give you my beliefs and to make you the same. I'm here to teach about the mystic path, and mysticism is in every aspect, but primarily for that direct access. Direct access to what? Or who? Or why? Right? So make a little note, because knowing even a little bit of what you believe. So if I say God, what comes up? Do you feel a bit sick, or do you go, oh, you know? And then what is that God? Or how do you describe that, which is difficult if you, right? That's why we have poets. That's why we have mystics that do poetry. A lot of my poetry is about my direct experiences, because the language doesn't quite meet what we're trying to say, right? But for yourself, consider that. So some of you have done a lot of this already. Bear with me, because we're going to get deeper every day. We're going to be talking about the mother, right? And how the mother, to me, how I experience the mother, and when I speak of the mother and when I get in awe of the mother, it's not a woman. And maybe I don't even need to say that, but maybe there's a few of you that are new here and you're like, why she keeps talking about the mother? The mother is beyond that. And we're going to go into traditions, and the ones that we're going to touch on, and if you have some that are more in line with you, share them with me. Or you could look at how those traditions fit in as well. But the main ones that come to me, so originally it was the Hindu and Tamil understanding. I had direct mystical experiences with those gods and goddesses. Don't ask me why. I have no idea, but and there were specific ones that gave me specific information, had no connection to any of it, right? Gave me the information which led to other information. And there's other traditions, right? The last probably 3 years or so, maybe longer, because time's not really a factor in my world, but has been the Shekinah, because she showed me, the mother was showing me aspects of herself. Right? So we have the Hebrew Bible, we have the Old Testament, and then we had the New Testament characters come to me. Again, I'm not religious. I have no connection to these books and the information in them until they come to me and show me and tell me. Right? Now, that sounds all a little out there, and it is. And there's many, many stories I can tell you. And as we go along, I probably will. My point is that what we're looking for is what's beyond that point. So the mystics will teach you to go to that point. The blue star. There we go. The point in the blue star up there. Whoa, there we go. Any of you see that? Like really see that? Not just my wall. That's there as a remembrance for you. Right? And there's so much more. You know, there's other colors, the violet and the gold and whatnot. And we'll you know, touch into those. But what we're going to look at is from that point. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about this energy that's beyond the point. And I guess that's what you could call the mother. The Adipara Shakti, not the Shakti, the one before all the Shakti that births all the gods and goddesses, right? Not the God, the Hebrew God, right? The Ein Sof, the no thingness that birthed the God, that then birthed the 10 eminences of virtues to guide humanity. Get me? So there's all of these stepping stones or breadcrumbs that take you, you know, and there's the Tao system as well, right? All the different ones. What I know, there's not a lot of words for. So what we do is I'll touch into different systems so you have a reference to what I'm sharing of that direct mystic path, the mystical experience, or the, you know, the route to the beloved. Right? So that's what we're going deeper into. Now, why March? And then we'll wrap this this part up and we'll go into the mastermind. March. Any guesses to like what the time of year is to, and probably most of you will have no idea because you're not that from that culture, or you're not from that religion, or you're not from that community or whatever, right? March. But you may know of the story of Esther. May? Do you remember Esther? A little bit, right? So the last few weeks, she's come back in. And this is what happens. I'm a mystic. They come to me. And I'm like, why is Esther back? And I realized, oh, we're going into her story again. Literally in this time. What if I don't get anything across today? I mean, there's a few things I want to get across. What I said here, so that it doesn't what this is. I don't have a belief system. Like, I have just direct experience with, right? And that's just how I am. What I'm trying to unpack and unfold is ways to assist and guide and mentor you. Oh, you lost me for a bit. Maybe it's when I was doing this. um, ways to guide you. Sorry, I lost myself for a bit now. Ways to guide you, mentor you, so that you have some connection, some intimacy with how you are in the world, right? A connection and intimacy with yourself, a connection and intimacy with the greater aspects of yourself. I don't care what you call them. Because with just that, just connecting to the self, you will have that clarity, right? You will be able to, if you can't see it straight away, you will have the tools to be able to nut it out, like I did with my daughter. Not going externally to say, tell me what to do. What should I do? I can't make that decision. Yes, you can. It's just fear. It's just fear. What's the fear telling you? Understand the fear. Have a relationship with the fear. Because if every time you feel fear, which is every day, multiple, probably hundreds of times a day, and you're pushing it away, how much of you are you not in contact with? Did you get that piece? If you're pushing away fear or going into your little spins, you know, fear, right? Getting scared, getting charged, triggered, sparked, then you're not conscious. So how much of your day are you losing? How much of your energy are you losing from not having a relationship? Even if it's an uncomfortable relationship, it's a conscious relationship. So you can take back more of your life. Do you feel that at all? Or is it like, oh yeah, this is all right, you're entertaining me? Do you feel it? So again, I guess I take you back to, why are you here? Why did you show up? Why are you watching this, if at all? Maybe you see the replay or someone sends it to you and you're like, what? And then how is that creating whatever whatever you put down, whatever you noted at the beginning of this? I was asking you a bunch of questions. What do you value? What do you want? What's creating some discomfort? Whatever's creating the discomfort is not, it's the story, and you can find out through connecting to the fear, to the sensation in the body. I'm going to say it over and over, Kate. I can see you going, yep, you're having like little ahas. And I'm going to say it until you're so bored of hearing it. Yay, right? Because every time I say it, it's like a reminder. Oh, that's right. That's right. And we need it. We need it. We need reminders. And that's what your mystics and medicine men and women do. They remind you. They give you reminders. They bring the information back in for you. And then every ritual, every meditation, everything we're doing is a reminder to remember yourself. Remember, pulling all the aspects of the self back together, okay? So it's a whole bunch of questions in this part of the on-demand, right? So your homework is to answer them for yourself. You don't have to share them with me, but you can if you want to. And also let me know, from 2 weeks ago when we looked at manifesting, like we're going to charge what you were working towards. What has changed in the last week? So we didn't have any lives last week. That was my flex week. So the last week of the month is always a flex week. So we're here for 3 weeks of the month, right? 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday. So you're welcome to come and just see how answering a couple of these questions regularly and seeing how you bring them into the world, into your life, into your world, and start observing how you are when you're doing that. That's your homework, or that's your contemplation, right? So we're going to wrap up the Facebook Live, and we're going to go over to the mentoring, where we're going to do an activation and answer some questions, do some mentoring. But so if you want to join that the rest of the week or the rest of the month, go to the Holistic Mystic Mastermind, and you can join. You'll get 2 days to check us out, but then it's $30 for the month, right? All right. So anything else I needed to tell you before we go over to the mastermind? No. So will we be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Hawaiian time? So I alternate the times, but if you look on Rhombus Healing Arts, you'll see what times I'm on every day. And you can come onto there. If you're interested in Relevate the program, I'll put the link as well, and see whether you want to come over to the Holistic Mystic and we can do the mentoring. All right. Until tomorrow, ciao. Those of you on Zoom, just hang around and we'll get into the deeper